Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is Fishing Vlog number 144. And I thought I'd start off with this newly sanded corridor aquarium for one of the reasons why I don't really care for sanded aquariums, and that is the mulm that gathers on the surface. Now I know in a bare bottom aquarium it gathers as well, but for some reason when it sits on top of the sand like that, it bugs me more. There's no real reason for it other than the fact that I think it just looks dirtier this way. So what I'm going to do here is go through the process of trying to get rid of it. It's not hard, it's just a bit time consuming. So what I'm going to do is put a tube in, start a siphon, have that siphon drain into a net and of course into the overflow system. I just don't want to catch any of the shrimp or anything. And then just wiggle it back and forth. It gradually lifts up the mulm. You have to be careful not to get too close or you end up sucking up the sand. And I don't really want to get that building up in my overflow system because, well, I suppose eventually it would cause a problem. But anyway, it's a simple matter of doing that. And then when that's done, just filling the tank back up. Now the other thing I've noticed is partially probably due to the fact that there's a lot less plants in here now, it is staying a little bit more cloudy. Not sure why. It could be the fact that the cories are in there stirring stuff up constantly, maybe because of the sand. We'll see as it progresses. We'll see in another month or two what it ends up looking like. But for the moment, I am doing weekly water changes and sand vacuums just to try and get this to stabilize. The fish are perfectly fine and happy, of course. The cories love the sand. They're always going around poking around in it, and I haven't seen any issues chemistry wise with the fish or anything else. So I mean, it is perfectly a healthy aquarium. So just might be me being picky about it all. So you see it's still a little stirred up, but everyone's moving around doing their thing. I am going to make some jellied fish food for the cories to fatten them up a bit more. Might include the video for that, but we'll have to wait and see. It's all about time, of course. One of the nice things I do like about reducing the amount of surface plants, at least, is it's much simpler now to maintain and deal with all the duckweed that gets growing absolutely everywhere in my fish room. I mean, it is nothing really wrong with the plant other than the fact that you can see that little spot there. This is very hard to get rid of. Now adding pearlweed into the equation just makes it that much more difficult, but then again, any surface plant does the same sort of thing. All I need to do here is just push the pearlweed underneath the water, give it a bit of a gentle shake, and hopefully dislodge as much of the duckweed as possible, and then just dip it out. This is a simple matter of taking a plastic container and just putting ever so slightly underneath the surface of the water, and then allowing that to gradually flow into the container. But if you watch in the front right hand corner, there's, well, my arm is in the way so I can't actually see it myself. Bits and pieces get missing. You just don't see it all, and it only takes one. And then if you get a little busy or whatever, as I often do, you just end up missing it and it just grows right back. I don't think I'll ever get rid of the amount of duckweed I have. I have one tank that you're going to see near the end of the video. It's just completely overgrown with it. It's just one of those plants that's just extremely successful at doing what it does. So there you can see, I can see right now like half a dozen or more bits and pieces of duckweed that I missed. And yeah, next week it'll have doubled or tripled. So it'll be pretty much where I was right now. I may go back tomorrow and do that again. But again, like I said, I will never get rid of it all anyway. So this is the same tank, and I've noticed, because I was moving some plants around, that I've reintroduced into this aquarium a bunch of, well, they used to be cherry shrimp. As you can see now, they're quite clear or brown or whatever, but they're not cherry shrimp anymore, but they thrive. I thought about trying to get rid of them out of here, but with all the plants and everything else, I don't think it would be possible, and we're just going to see how the red crystals and them get along. They don't obviously going to fight or anything, but unfortunately I suspect in time the red crystals will be out-competed by them. But everybody else is doing well. The guppies are now breeding. The females are nice and fat and plump, and there's a bunch of fry, of course, and I'm very happy with that tank. This is starting to almost be, well, cycled. I don't like using that word because it's kind of a silly word, but people like to use it. It is starting to stabilize a little bit. I need to decide what I want to do with the fish life. There's nothing wrong with these guppies. They're just mutts that I pulled out of the pond. I may decide to do something a little bit more special with this. I have to wait about another couple of weeks, I think, and then I will have to think about that. This is a funny thing. I was I was propagating a fair amount of this is spider plant, and I just tossed a bunch of it over in here because it was, well, it just grows everywhere, it gets in the way. But this particular spider plant is growing completely immersed in water. There's nothing else, fertilizing it, no soil, no nothing. It's just sitting there, roots in the water, and as you can see, it's perfectly happy, which is very unusual for a spider plant, but it's doing perfectly fine. As you can see, the Crebensis are also very happy. The babies are getting quite a bit bigger. If and when I find time to find room for these guys somewhere else, I will probably pull them out just to give the parents a chance to breed again. Unfortunately, I just have very little in the way of use for Crebensis fry, so if I end up with too many of them, I just won't have anywhere to put them. So part of my reason for procrastinating, but in general it's just because I procrastinate. The platies are doing very well split up now. They're very happy. I think the female that was left in here, the blue version, she's looking a bit more round, so I'm hoping she's pregnant. If she is, she's pregnant because of the tuxedos, and as you can see, they're growing, and everyone's doing exactly what I hope they do. I'm going to show you the other side of the colony here in a little bit, and they're also doing quite well. And I actually really do want to breed the silvers. I'm not sure why, I just happen to like them. Maybe it's because they're the wild type, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to separate the silvers out, give them their own aquarium, heat it up, and see what they decide to do about that. And I'm going to put the rest of them probably up with the other ones, temporarily at least anyway. And then, of course, I want to get into more breeding as spring progresses. This is the colony that's left over, the ones I didn't move over in the other side. And as you see, now there's a bit more room in here. There is a lot more activity, and there's still some blues in here, and one or two other odd, like just brick red ones. I mean, obviously they're all mutts, but it's nice to see a bit of variety in their color. But obviously the tuxedos are the ones that thrive the most. Anyway, it's doing really well. Lots of subwasser tang, as you can see too. Again, I must re-prune this, but anyway. Speaking of plants that get out of control, I'm going to end up with this today. It's not dying back. It's still just spreading and spreading more. I gotta leave it. I want to see what happens. And there you go. That's the tank I was telling you about with the duckweed. I'm never going to get the duckweed out of that one. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Leave comments. Let me know what you think about everything. And I will see you in the next video. And bye for now.